And now, a statement by the 45th President of the United States, Donald John Trump.
Good evening, everyone. As you may know, I'm on this fledgling podcast. Who the fuck would listen to this? No one. No one in their mother. People from shithole countries listen to this podcast. If you remember that, one of my greatest hits, what can I say? I'm a man of greatest hits. And so I've come on here because I've been literally banned on everything. The evil media companies, they're after me. They're coming after me. They're coming after you. They're just coming everywhere. It's crazy. Crazy time to live. We have the Delta variant. So I thought, I got in contact with a young man, Paul Riley, a great guy. A young man from Massachusetts who I couldn't say no to being on the show. So I had to come, and I came. And I came everywhere on this show. And I just want to say, America, as we move into another lockdown where Joe Biden will probably put martial law on you, I just want you to remember, I'm in Mar-a-Lago. I'm bored out of my mind. The sex, it's been terrible. Melania is stiffer than a dead fish in a market in Jakarta on a 120-degree day. No thanks to global warming, which we love. We love the warm days. A day like today where it's 90-something degrees in Massachusetts. I know where Paul is, where I am in Mar-a-Lago, and Paul in Massachusetts. It's a beautiful day in Mar-a-Lago for some golf, some sun, some shade, and stiff Melania. But I found some solace in my time of grieving after losing the election and stealing all of your money so I can pay off my campaign debt. Because I was never going to stop the steal. I'm just going to run again and beat Kamala. An evil, evil woman. I'll send her to hell for you. I was at the meeting. She was at the meeting where we sacrificed the baby to Moloch. I was there with Bill and Hillary and Jimmy Buffett. Who knew Jimmy Buffett was in league with Jeffrey Epstein? Who knew a man who sang about cheeseburgers in paradise could be a pedophile? You only thought I was. Joke's on you. He was at the Eyes Wide Shut parties. So all of your middle-aged parents can never go to his concerts again because he's a pedophile. He's a pedophile. But I'll be back in 4 years. I'm sitting here. I'm playing Fortnite right now with Baron. Baron is on Tinder talking to 20-year-old women from Long Beach, California. She's going to fly out here. And I'm probably going to have sex with her. So you can say, I'm lucky. I have Melania, my wife, beautiful woman but stiff. She's getting sick of me. I've been spending too much time with her. I've been spending too much time because I'm not in the White House saving America from all of these problems like China, like socialist AOC. Remember her? Now she's a lackey for that nerdy little Nancy. She thinks she was tough. I'm coming for her. 4 years, Nancy. What are you going to be? 110 and still in Congress? We need young blood, and I've got some of the youngest. I've got baby's blood infused into me through satanic rituals and cabals that only can be done by the maybe 1/10 of the 1%, Like Bernie Sanders, he talks about, the 1/10 of the 1%. I'm that. I'm a billionaire. What can I say? I'm in league with Moloch, Bill Clinton, and Jeffrey Epstein's ghost, who appears to me every night and says fuck you to me and then disappears. So I don't know, I can't sleep. I'm just being haunted by him. He's possessed. He's tried to possess me 3 times. It's gotten sexual. I think he's one of those succubuses. I don't know. I don't know what kind of deal he made with Satan. I only know the deal that I made, and it involved me being president and things about people attacking the Capitol and apocalypse and monsters coming out of the ground. But that's for the second term, so let's not get into that. Let's not get into that. So I'm going to leave you with a show with 2 people who are probably mentally challenged. I don't know. At least one of them is. Another one, he could be on the spectrum. I don't know these days. Everyone identifies as something different. I can't keep track of it. But I'm going to leave you with this message. If you had to pick between me and a man who wears some sort of beige-colored suit like Joe Biden did yesterday, you would fucking choose me. So fuck you. Goodbye, everybody. Vote for Donald Trump. 2024. Make America great again. Redux, baby. Just like Apocalypse Now. Goodbye. Goodbye from Mar-a-Lago.
This was a statement by the 45th President of the United States, Donald John Trump. Wow, holy shit, I can't believe we got him.
Dude, that was crazy.
That was-
It's like he was in the room with us.
It really felt
I
like
felt
it.
his presence over me a little bit.
I know.
It was
Down in the
kinda
Winter
weird.
White House?
In Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, I know. Hanging
He
out
was
with...
hanging-
You know, it's kind of strange he attacked his wife that much. You know, she stood by him and whatnot.
Maybe the sex must be that bad.
It must be.
Suck.
Must be that bad. I like the Pelosi call out. That's
Yeah,
you got to hit the highlights, like he said. He's using the highlights.
He's
You
the
know,
greatest hits. He's a man of many hits.
he is a man of many hits. You know, he
I-
talked about global warming there for a second, and it reminds me of one of his other great hits about global warming, where he was. I don't remember where he was giving the speech. You know, every day was a rally, but
Every day was a party.
every day was a party.
It was
Oh
awesome.
man, we were making bank. You know, the media was doing well, and people like the scaremongers and the Lincoln Project people of the world were having a great time.
Oh, what's the guy's? Is it John Weaver? He was the one that was like grooming.
Yes, yeah, the one he used
He
to
was a
work for.
fucking pedophile.
He used to work for McCain.
Oh man, dude, he forgot to talk about John McCain. But there's so much on that guy's mind.
Yeah, you
we
know,
were probably gonna get him back anyway, since there's like no other media that will like.
I was surprised he talked about Epstein. You know, it's.
I'm surprised he talked about being infused with babies' blood. That was
Well,
a
I
little-
mean, you know, everyone knows he took the Regeneron cocktail.
Yeah, I mean that could have involved.
That's the cover.
That's the cover for the.
That's
baby.
yeah, it's the cover for
A
Bohemian
mention
Grove.
of Moloch.
Yeah.
That was interesting. He used a lot of big vocabulary words. I don't know. I think
Unlike
he's been,
him.
I think he's been reading.
Yeah, the
Honestly,
dictionary.
Dude, he's been like thumbing through, you know.
And what else are you gonna do during COVID?
With Baron, dude, he's been playing Fortnite with Baron.
You know, I want to see if we can get him on the Discord. That would be fun.
Baron in the Discord. Well, I mean, I'm Donnie Durag.
You were well, no, because you got changed
Just like Willie.
to Slick Willie. Because
Yeah,
the other people that don't understand, because before you were something.
Can we talk about that image? I was thinking about that image the other day.
Yeah.
At like 6 o'clock in the morning when I was driving to the gym. I can't find that picture.
As you do.
anywhere.
Really?
I can't find that picture anywhere.
Do you have it saved on your phone or something?
Yeah, I think it saves on my computer.
Okay, because if you wanted to change it back, we can make that happen.
No.
I didn't change it. I just changed the name.
Yeah, you changed the name. My picture is still
Oh.
Durag Donnie.
Yeah,
I
with
just
the
had to
earring.
move- With the dude,
Does
I
he have a
like that-
stud?
Yeah, he has a stud
Yeah.
earring. Durag.
Oh.
I wish it was like one of those suede. I always wanted a suede durag.
Okay, LeBron James.
A
Like,
suede. Like I saw some guy was driving down the street and this guy in like a Ford Excursion. This is very like I hate to say it. It's kind of a stereotype.
okay.
Like a big Ford Excursion.
Yeah,
Windows down.
Four-door.
The back windows were tinted.
as they are.
And he was just wearing a suede durag and had studs, and I was like, I wish if I. Wish
Hey, is
I
that
was
Donald
guy.
Trump? Is that what you said?
I was like, is that Donnie Durag? Is that Donnie Durag's driver?
Yeah.
But no, the Donnie Durag character, like I made a whole like character for him.
I know, because what else? You have
He-
nothing better to do with your time than to create these universes. The DCU, the Dirty Cinematic Universe, and that's just
Donnie
that's how
Durag,
you.
but like it's like so.
I read, but you can think about these characters and.
So my idea for him was that like one day Donald was playing golf and he's like driving the golf cart and he like falls down a ditch and then like bumps his head and he wakes up and he thinks he's like like a gangster
Oh no.
and so and then he runs again for president and this time and it goes everyone just loves Donnie Durag.
Yeah.
He's like, free drinks. It's like going to like what's Jay-Z's club, like the 40/40 club.
Sure.
I think
don't
that's
know.
Jay-Z's club. It's like his rallies are like, and he's not like racially tense. He's not tense generally as he was. He's more like loose, and he's sort of having a good time. Everybody, Donnie Durag, everybody.
I think he just poked his head in through the window
Yeah.
as you're, trying to, and he just that was him.
I don't know. He keeps like reaching out through the ether.
The ether. Yeah, just like Epstein, I guess.
Dude, Epstein.
Standing
He
at the
talked
foot
about
of his bed.
Epstein's ghost.
Standing at the foot of his bed.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't really talk. Did he? He mentioned coronavirus. We shouldn't spend too much time on him, as that would make us look like we're like endorsing.
No, we're not. We're not endorsing nobody.
I don't want to.
We're nihilists.
Nihilist. We're Neolithic. We're Neo-ludist. Like Ted Kaczynski.
Okay. All right. Now the FBI is here.
The Neo-ludist. Neo-Luddites, dude. Luddites and Neo. He's a Neo-Luddite. Ted Kaczynski is a Neo-Luddite. Not to throw any hate at the Neo-ludists. I know most of them wouldn't
send packages with bombs in them.
Yeah, to people. I don't even know. I just think he just wanted to send them to the people. Were they like?
No, I think he just got fucked up in college when they had like the.
Yeah, because he was a part of that.
MK Ultra shit. Yeah.
He was a part of the Harvard LSD experiment.
Yes.
Kid was a genius. He was a mathematical genius. I have read his manifesto. I've read a lot of banned literature.
Oh.
I have read the manifesto.
Isn't it like 400 pages?
If you disregard who he is, it's like pretty like down the middle, like not Prim, but like Luddite, Neo-Luddite literature. Like, okay. If you know what that is, it's...
Well, I do, but I'm
like
speaking on behalf of the audience. Like, obviously, Anachronyl Prime, that makes sense.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go back that far.
Not back to Monkey.
Yeah, no, it's like half Return to Monkey.
Yeah.
You know, you stop I think he would think probably like pre-industrial revolution.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's like they're left, because they're into communal sort of groups. Like, the makeup of the state is like very low level. And by I mean low level, I don't mean like dumb or like, you know, like mentally handicapped.
But you mean closer to the ground.
I mean closer to like a community,
yeah,
or like a tribe. So in like economically, it's left libertarian because it's like socialist. But they reject modernity like outright. Whereas Marx would say that we're moving forward, you know, into like the utopia. These people are like, yeah.
The utopia's back there.
The utopia, we had utopia.
The utopia, we passed that street about three blocks back.
Yeah, we passed that about 3 million years ago, guys. We're going back to the protozoa era. It's like that meme of like, why the fuck did I crawl on the primordial soup?
Now I have to pay fucking taxes.
Yeah, like, well, I think, yeah, I don't think there would be taxes in an in-print. I mean, I have only read like, I probably read more than most people, but I haven't read like a lot. I just read a few books, and I read his book, and it's very interesting. Like, you know, if you kind of for 5 minutes just forget that he was like a terrorist, it's like it's very standard literature. Yeah. But when you bring that back in, you're like, okay, like he was a bad guy, but it's not like.
Is there a violent edge to his manifesto?
I don't remember. I read it a long time ago. I know
convenient answer.
But it's different like when I read Mein Kampf, you can definitely tell that like Hitler is just like a
angry,
or he's just like a whiny cunt. You can you can like 100%, because, and I mean, some of the stuff is kind of weird. Like some of the stuff he says about the British is kind of weird. Like he's like warm to them being like kind of racial cousins to the Aryan race, but like they're kind of second fiddle, but we like them. And I mean, honestly, like all the anti-Semitic stuff is it's just copy paste from the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, which is pretty a straightforward book. I read that too. That's like old.
So you're really deep into banned literature.
Well, not really, but I mean it's not they're not banned books. Like you can buy Mein Kampf. It's just that like I wouldn't walk into Barnes and Noble, because you can do that. It is at Barnes and Noble. I have seen copies of it, but I've been too much of a pussy to buy it, because I got the PDF, because I really don't want people going, oh, because I'm like, you know, I'm white, so people are gonna think, wow, this kid's a Nazi, and it's like, no, I just wanted to read it because
it's an enlightening thing.
Well, like I'd rather say, hey, you know, I read Mein Kampf and I know what he was saying, rather than make up some ad hominem thing that's just not true. Yeah. Because then you're just going to give the real baddies who've read it, which I don't think any. I mean, maybe Richard Spencer probably. He's alert. He seems like a learned man. For being,
How about the guy that pissed in his mouth?
he pissed in his food?
No, there's the guy who wore the Nazi armband at one of the rallies, and then pissed in his mouth. Joey something.
He pissed in his mouth?
Not Richard Spencer, somebody different.
But who? He pissed in his own mouth?
Yeah, he's like a Twitter troll. Hold on, let me look this up.
What?
Yeah,
amazing.
he peed in his own mouth.
That's amazing.
Joey something. Joey Salads. Joey Salads.
Oh, dude, he was like the prank YouTuber.
Yeah, he pissed in his own mouth.
Pissed in his own mouth. Wow, that's some Bear Grylls level type shit. Why did he pee in his own mouth? He would like.
Here you go. Here's an image.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
What did he do that for? Like pornography? Or?
I don't know.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, and then he also wore a fucking swastika armband.
His whole thing is he's like, so he was notorious for doing like these weird pranks, and one of the Joey Salad pranks was he like put a car with like MAGA stickers all over it, drove it to the hood, and then dropped it off, and like made like black people seem like, I think he paid a bunch of black guys to like destroy the car.
Huh.
And then he was like, look at these thugs. And it's just like, dude, it's just like so, like, this is like the racist undertones of this is so bad. It's like, you paid these people, and then he's like, these people are thugs, like, they don't care. And it's like, dude, I think if black people's, like, if I saw that in Brockton, I don't think anyone would touch that car. Like, I don't think anyone would touch that fucking car. Because no one, these people don't fucking care. Like,
Yeah.
You think, you definitely paid those people. It's like, he basically pulled, like, a Shabbat's Goy and just, like, paid these guys to, like, do something for him.
Uh-huh.
Some, like, day laborers. He was like, hey, guys, like, want to destroy this car in this Mexican neighborhood so I can say that, you know, the liberals are racist, or, like, they hate Donald Trump. And it's like, dude, no one's going to do that. I've seen people with Trump shit on their cars. People just take pictures of it and laugh at you like no one.
Well, I have to say, I have personal experience with a person with Trump stuff getting vandalized. I won't tell you who until off the podcast because he is no longer a supporter and has not been for some time. But in 2016, in the run-up to the 2016 election, a friend of ours had a Trump bumper sticker. This happened. I was there when this happened. We all went to the Revs game.
Yeah.
He had a Trump bumper sticker on his car. We go into the Revs game, and we come back out. Somebody had placed a Hillary Clinton bumper sticker over his Trump sticker. And it was, like, impossible to get off.
Oh, well, that's just white people.
It is just white people.
That's
I'm not saying, independent of the racial connotations of what you were talking about with Joey Salads, I meant, like, there are people who care enough.
There are people that would do it, but they're white.
Yeah, because,
White,
you know,
yeah, they're white.
white women.
People. White women.
White women, stand back and stand by.
That's what I'm saying.
They're awful. They're
These
awful.
White women. I can say
White
that.
women are awful, Murray.
Murray. You white women, Murray. Imagine he just like kills a white woman. It's like the whole point of Joker.
I'm going to become the white woman, Murray.
Murray. I'm gonna destroy them, Murray. No, dude.
Such a great film.
That's like such white woman.
I don't understand why it's cool to hate on that movie. Because there are people, first of all, there are actual film critics who say, with some actual substance and maybe merit behind their argument, but they say it's a reimagining of certain Scorsese elements from The King of Comedy and Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
And I guess that there might be an argument for that, but also, like, where was that when Avatar came out and it was just Dances with Wolves? Where was that when, I mean, there's countless movies now that just seem to rip off something from before. And then there's just the people that don't know what they're talking about, but they're just like, oh, it was never that good. You know, it's white rage. It's like, fuck off. It's a good movie. I really enjoyed it.
When I saw it the first time, I thought it was good. And then I agree with, I think Quentin Tarantino said this about the scene where he kills Marty. You want him to kill Murray. You want him to kill De Niro's character.
Mm.
Like, and I think that made that, like, I think that's what put the movie over for me. It's a good movie. I don't know. I know a lot of people are tweeting like it's incel.
Yeah, that aspect of the
And it's
dialogue
like,
is
fuck, no one
obnoxious.
fucking cares. I get it's like I get the critiques of it being Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
No, it's much closer to the King of Comedy.
Yeah, it is much closer. But
The people who say it's Taxi Driver haven't seen the King of Comedy. That's just kind of the way that I look at it.
Yeah, but I do think
Two great Scorsese films from the late 70s, early 80s that you should watch, by the way, audience.
What did they make? What is Joker? What's the name of the guy that's Joker?
Arthur Fleck?
Arthur Fleck. Arthur Fleck's character reminds me of... That's the only thing about it that's Taxi Driver-esque. Is him and the... Like, kind of like, because in King of Comedy, it's like a deteriorated... Like New York, right? Like Gotham is the same as New York in the King of Comedy, right?
No, the King of Comedy doesn't really have
sort of any political, socioeconomic element.
No.
So that's where the Taxi Driver stuff comes in. And then
Taxi Driver talks about like the underbelly of New York a lot more. Rupert
yeah.
Pupkin in the King of Comedy is just a failed comedian with a lot of mental health issues.
Yeah.
And delusions of grandeur. So like. It would be if you took the Rupert Pupkin character and his failed comedic edge and put him in the world of Taxi Driver. And I think that, obviously, but also the direction of the story is a lot closer to something like...
Yeah,
I mean, there are those scenes where Arthur Fleck believes that like Murray's like embracing him at the show and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, those are ripped straight from the King of Comedy. There's nowhere of that. Nowhere that is that in Taxi Driver.
No.
Right.
No. And I think a lot of people called it a Taxi Driver ripoff because I think they didn't want to admit that it was a decent movie because of the incel. It's a fucking superhero movie.
Exactly.
That you could literally, if you wanted to be fucked up, you could say some fucked up shit about Black Panther. Like you could say that, I don't like that movie. Like it's like promoting Black Power and like the name of the movie is Black Panther. The Black Panthers, they were in Oakland with the guns and the Fred Hampton and like you can literally do that about like come on.
Yeah,
and
again,
no one's doing that because it's insane. It's absolutely
and it doesn't speak to the merit of the film itself.
Yeah, it does. You're just saying like, the incel, blah blah blah. Just because you saw one thing about Elliot Rodgers once, and now you're like you think like that, like. These fucking losers that can't get laid are out to, like, shoot up a school or something.
Yeah, well, I think maybe people who don't understand the Aurora shooting and when the Dark Knight Rises came out.
Yeah.
I think the people that think that guy said, I'm the Joker, and it was in, like, because remember early on in the reporting of that, back when that shooting happened at that early screening, the police officer misreported...
It's not really funny, but I'll tell it after.
Oh, boy. The police officer misrepresented what I don't even remember the name of the shooter, but they basically
didn't he dye his hair?
His hair was orange. His hair was orange, and he had nothing. There was no other link to the Joker besides
I think he just decided he was just mentally ill.
Yes,
and he decided he wanted to shoot up.
And so remember they had armed guards at screenings of the Joker and all this stuff, and I think that that was born out of the disinformation, not because it wasn't intentionally. People were misinformed about what happened.
But also, I think, again, people online who are very good at trolling, they psyched people out, which happens a lot nowadays. It's like people get psyched out, like the OK sign. I think that was
my God.
That was one of the moments where people really got psyched out.
Yeah.
And then it got embraced, like the Proud Boys use it as a kind of a symbol. And that was kind of one of the things that really kind of psyched people out. You know what I mean? It gets in your brain, and you just can't handle the fact because you don't want to underreact. I think that's just like a post 9/11 thing where people overreact to shit because they don't know how to handle it in the proper way. Like since 9/11, you can't underhandle something. You always have to overhandle a situation because if anything goes wrong, and I don't think that's any way to live. I think that's kind of a mentally ill, risk-averse way to live, but whatever. But yeah, I do remember the armed guards. But I have a funny story with The Dark Knight Rises. I went to see it with a friend of mine. I was in middle school, think I was in middle school. Was we in middle school when that movie came out? It was in like 8th grade, I think, when that movie came out.
2013?
Yeah, I was in middle school because I started. Came out in 2013.
Yeah.
Oh,
2012 or 2013.
It definitely came out in 20. I don't know. I was either going into my freshman year of high school or like in 8th grade, and my mom dropped me
2012.
Me and my friend, like I think me and my friend Rabinski went to see it, and it was like the summer.
July of 2012.
Yeah, so it was like the summer of my freshman year of high school. I was going into sophomore year of high school, and we went to see it, and we got to the scene where that guy killed everyone. What was his name?
The villain of The Dark Knight Rises?
No. The shooter in Aurora.
Oh, I don't remember his name.
Well, he there was a point in the movie when Dane and his goons they attack the Gotham Stock Exchange. It's like the first time.
James Holmes.
James Holmes, yeah. And James Holmes came in during that scene where it's like, I am the bank now. I was born in the stock exchange. You were merely born in it. You nearly developed Jim Cramer. I was in the stock exchange.
Right. Yeah, he goes onto the floor and the guy's like, why are you robbing us? There's no money here. And he goes, then why are you people here?
Then why are you people here?
Yeah.
I'm going to rape you after this.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, whatever he did. I don't know. It was like, I didn't really like him. I thought Ledger was a better villain. I wish Ledger was around. Maybe he would have been in The Dark Knight Rises.
I think that was the plan originally. He was written to, like, they were going to have some stuff. You know when he releases all the inmates from the prison after the Harvey Dent stuff?
Yeah.
There was apparently going to be, he was going to feature in that segment. Because he was in the, I don't know what the name of the prison is. Arkham?
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Arkham.
Yeah. He was going to
feature. Arkham's the asylum.
Oh.
That's where Scarecrow is the doctor. But that scene, we were sitting in the movie theater. I did a really bad Bane impersonation and threatened sexual crimes against someone, but we're going to get on track here with the story. So that scene where they're in the stock exchange, it was the scene where, like, you know, when they're shooting and they're like firing on. I think they have like Uzis. They have like automatic weapons, and they're just letting them rip. That's when James Holmes actually came in, if I'm not mistaken, and people literally in the movie theater were clapping when the scene was near its end.
I'm confused.
I was sitting there, I'm like, what the, like a woman, like a row or two rows in front of me, I clear as day remember her standing up and clapping.
I don't understand why.
I don't either. I don't know if they were trying to, like, pay their respects to the people that were killed, or they were happy that the scene had ended. Like, I don't know what was going on. It was very weird.
That's very in poor taste. I don't care what your intention is. Like, 20 people got shot dead.
It was 2012. Everything was in poor taste.
Yeah,
in 2012. I mean, come on. Let's be real here. That was 2012 was
before history, as you like to say.
Before history?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was before history.
Yeah.
It was still post-ideology, but it was before history.
Before history.
Before history started. Before the man that spoke earlier.
Yes. Our lead-in.
Our lead-in interview. We only got him for a short amount. That was like a cameo.
I know. It felt like we paid $5,000. Imagine if Trump got on Cameo.
Dude.
Oh my God. That would be insane. I need to pay my legal fees, okay? So we're gonna do this Cameo thing. It's great because I never speak on script, so I could just riff at the camera.
Dude, you'd pay I feel like you would pay.
Well, think about it. Floyd Mayweather, his cameo costs $1,000.
Dude, I'd pay him $1,000 to try to read a page of a book.
Harry Potter.
No, I'd have
that's what 50 Cent.
James Joyce. I just tried to have him read Finnegan's Wake.
Oh no. Something. Yeah.
Oh my God. No, imagine you would pay for it would be $5,000 for 2 minutes, but the guy would speak for half an hour.
Yeah, just like when he gave his announcement speech. Do you know this?
Yeah, he was only supposed to speak for a very limited amount.
He was
of
supposed
time.
to give a 10-minute speech, and then about 5 minutes into the speech, you could see him just move his eyes from the teleprompter, and then just start talking about Mexican immigrants.
Yeah, dude, that's what there's some of them they're committing rape. Some of them I assume are good people. I love how
He
threw
spoke
that
for
in there.
45 minutes.
Yeah, dude. I think that my highlight was when he went. Some of them are probably good people.
I'll do it. I'll bite the bullet and do this one. When Mexico sends their people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people.
I love how he assumed some of them are good people.
Yeah, the highlight I was going to mention earlier was we talked about when he was in. How is it that if I'm in my apartment and the doors and the windows are closed and I use hairspray, that the hairspray is going to destroy the ozone layer? Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I remember that one. I think what I always liked about his presidency was that he's been the same person for 40 years. It's just that he got too close to the rod of power, and people were like, okay, that's where we if you ever watch, like, my grandmother used to watch The Apprentice, and everyone
Like the show when it was on.
Yeah.
Yeah, on
he
network.
said some crazy shit.
Remember, he
on
told
that
the
show.
girl he thought it was a beautiful picture of her on her knees.
Yeah. Did you ever see the scene where one of the contestants he's a gay man,
No.
and he just
Tell me
goes.
this.
He goes, so I hear you're gay, you're a First of all, he calls him a homosexual. He's like, you're a homosexual.
No.
What? This is on...
What year was
This
this?
was like from mid-2000s.
Oh no.
And he's like, I heard you were homosexual. So you don't think these women, you don't think they're beautiful. And the guy goes, no. And he goes, well, homosexuality, it's fine. It's like you go to a restaurant and on a menu, some people like steak. Some people like pasta, that's why we have a menu, it's like homosexuality. Or something along those lines. But he compares...
That's surprisingly progressive for Trump.
Dude, he
by
liked
Trump
it.
standards.
He liked gay people. I mean, he's a New York socialite. If that guy hasn't been in bed with another man, like, come on. That dude was doing diet pills. Like,
Yeah, he still is doing diet pills.
He lives in Manhattan. Like, those people are very loose. They don't care. Like, he probably, has sold real estate and done deals with people that are gay. Like, most of that stuff that came out of his mouth anyway is an act. Like, I mean, either way, he invented homosexuality because it's his world and we're living in it. This podcast is just his. It doesn't exist. Well, he came on, so it exists.
It does.
It does. So
It didn't exist before, but now it does.
We've been christened basically by God.
Mm.
And what I always liked about it was like, if you ever watch, there's like a compilation that's like the Daily Caller or something made of him going on The View, and they're so loving.
Just shit talking Joy Behar to her face.
But she loves it.
Yeah.
She's like, oh,
He'd
Donald,
be like,
I love you."
I'd like to have sex with my daughter, and she's like, stop it! And she like taps him on the shoulder.
Stop it.
Yeah, it's
You
like, come
want
on.
me, Donald.
Yeah.
And then Whoopi is like, oh, I had him in my movie, and then he runs for president
No, but Whoopi was giving him shit. I remember there's a clip of Whoopi giving him shit. I don't know.
The birther thing?
Yes.
Yeah, and who came up with the birther thing? Who came up with it?
Is the
Hillary
answer
Clinton-
Jesus?
Hillary Clinton's team.
Oh,
That was-
yeah,
that
of
was
course.
And
That's
he
your
was
typical-
a fan of Hillary Clinton. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's almost like, Whoopi, you're really just fighting amongst yourselves with that one.
Yeah.
But what I liked is she was friends with him. She put him in a movie, and then when, I don't know, someone on The View was like, Whoopi, you were in a movie with him, and he's like, he was a different person, and I was just like, that's fucking bullshit. He's been the same person for 40 years. The guy's deranged.
Yeah.
The guy's fucking crazy. I mean, I'm tapped, but that guy's like on another fucking planet.
He really is.
And like, I don't know, I always thought that was funny that people now were repulsed by him. Not like when he was saying he wanted to have sex with his daughter, or comparing sexuality to like a restaurant menu.
A fish a fish or a fucking steak course
Yeah,
at a wedding. Like,
yeah, like.
would you
why
have
would
the
you go
steak
to-
or the fish?
The chicken. Some people like both. Some people like to have surf and turf. They're called bisexual. I just think they're sex addicts. But what do I know about anything? Yeah, it's just like insane, dude. He like honestly, I miss his Twitter.
What would transgenders be in this analogy?
People who go to take out? They don't like to eat. They like to have the experience of restaurant food, but not in the restaurant. I don't know. That's like my best guess to what.
Maybe
people
like
think.
maybe like the turducken.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, now we're veering into a place I don't want to know.
Sorry, I'm an agent of chaos.
No, dude.
Just like James Holmes.
It's. I can't believe those people were clapping. I just
That's
remember me
fucked.
and my friend are busy. We're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I don't know. He could like. He might even remember as well. Like, I haven't talked to him in a while.
Mm.
I should text him and ask him if he remembers
Have him on the pod.
what happened.
Get
But,
him down here. Get him down here into the pit.
I mean, we got Donald Trump's voice to
Emanating
disseminate
from the
to
heavens.
sky.
Yeah.
He's like, it was kind of like that. Have you ever seen Children of the Corn? At the end when the
Ben Shapiro's in that movie, right?
Yeah, he is in that movie.
Yeah.
You will facts over feelings. You will feel the wrath of my facts.
What the fuck is the kid's name?
I don't know.
It's some crazy like.
It's like Calabar, Finn Calabar or something.
Yeah, Finbar. Phineas.
Phineas.
Let me look it up.
My girlfriend, Lizzie's dog, her parents' dog. His name is Finn.
His name is Malachi.
Malachi. Yeah, that's right. Malachi. Doesn't he get strung up and killed at the end? And he's like,
Buddy, I don't know.
Yeah, he
I've
does,
never
and then
seen
like,
it.
He's like, why do not do this to me? And he's like,
Facts over feelings.
Facts over feelings, Mr. Feeney. That's a good bit. I like that.
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
No one understands when I bring that up. Like,
I remember when you tried to explain that to the guys in TIFF time, and Sean just did not know what to think. I mean,
dude,
his brain can get
I
overloaded
was
pretty easily.
screwing with him the other night about the Olympics. Did you read the Olympics thing where I was like, it's
I
a
was
scam?
Yeah, was that last night or was that?
No, that was like a couple days ago.
I don't remember, but I had something going on, so I like was perusing
I was in
it.
such a bad mood, and I was like, "This kid's watching the Olympics." Ugh.
Yeah.
And I was like, "The Olympics are a scam."
Well, I mean, the Russians.
Dude, I can't believe they're competing.
It shouldn't be.
Dude, well, like, and
What's the
that's
point of
problem.
banning
It's
the
like
Russians?
FIFA, dude. Like,
Yeah.
FIFA's so corrupt. The whole thing. It's just like and honestly, a lot of the critiques you just end up sounding like kind of bigoted because you're just basically saying those people that you don't trust them, they're corrupt. But it's like kind of awful because it's kind of true. They're these seedy like organizations.
Yeah.
And all these European European bureaucrats.
Eurocrats.
Yeah, these literally that's what it is. Like
That's what I mean.
yeah, there are these like weird like I know the guy who ran who's the guy from Portugal who ran FIFA? Didn't he go to jail? I don't
Yeah,
know.
and that scandal.
Yeah, and that like huge scandal.
A couple of really great documentaries about it.
But I mean the guy who ran wasn't it one of the people that ran the CONCACAF league? Wasn't he in trouble?
I don't know.
One of them I think had to
This has
resign.
exceeded. I'm just a season ticket holder to the Revs. I don't pay attention to the corporate side of things. I just like the product.
I think he was in trouble. I mean, they added Qatar to the CONCACAF.
Well, that's because they're hosting the World Cup. That has nothing.
Yeah, but they probably gave a lot of money.
Probably, but they needed to be in one of the. They needed to be in one of the tournaments.
Yeah, but aren't they? But Teddy was telling me that they were much better than a lot of the teams in their conference because they were like in the Asian.
Yeah, so they were going to play like Saudi Arabia and Kazakhstan. Like, give me a break.
Yeah, they're gonna play Borat, a team filled with Borat.
Kazakhstan, I have FIFA 2001, I believe is the year, or it might be 2000 or 99, but I believe it's 2001 for the PlayStation 1. And one of the teams, the world teams, like, you know, nationality teams you can play as is Kazakhstan for whatever fucking weird reason.
That's awesome.
They're the worst. They're like a 50-something overall.
That's funny.
Yeah. And you also have that was when they got the MLS branding, so you could play as different MLS teams.
Is that the only, you can play MLS teams in FIFA, right?
Yeah, you can do it. Like, nowadays, absolutely. They started, they didn't have it for a little while, and then they got it back in, like, 2005. And then it's been, like, you can
do like FC Barca versus the Revs.
Yeah.
And have the Revs get their asses handed to them.
Well, I mean, it depends. Realistically, if you're a half-decent FIFA player, you can pretty much play with any team.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, big news, though. Messi going to PSG.
Well, I don't know that it hasn't been confirmed, right?
No, I thought he was going. Dude, it's like literally everywhere. It's like all over. Doesn't Neymar plays there, right? No, too. He's played there for a couple of years.
Yeah, Neymar left and went over there in like 2017 or 2018.
What do you think? You're more of a soccer expert than I am.
About Messi?
No, but like, why do you think like him and Ronaldo got out of the Spanish league?
La Liga is having real financial problems.
Yeah.
So from what I read, and I only have done a little bit of research about it, and I'm a moron, so please don't take my word for anything. Especially about European soccer. I'm a fucking New England Revolution season ticket holder, ardent supporter. Like, clearly I am a fucking idiot. But what I read, it seems like they had pretty much reached an agreement, but La Liga blocked it because of their financial insecurity that the league is going through, and perhaps, I mean, that was why a lot of these bigger clubs
wanted to do that.
That Super League.
That Super League, that really kind of, I love how this was before they went to breaking points, but like Rising had like a story on that, and they were like, they trying to stop it, and I was watching it, and I'm pretty sure like some of the leagues in Europe. Now I didn't know what leagues they were, but I remember in the Wall Street
Serie
Journal,
A, which is the Italian league, that's Juventus was going to come, and Inter Milan and AC Milan were going to come out of there.
But
we're going to have La Liga and the English Premier League. We're going to give some. There were going to be a couple from the Bundesliga in Germany.
Yeah.
And I think maybe some team from Belgium. I'm not sure. But it's like there was like 4 or 5 major leagues.
But what I always found interesting about that was like everyone was like, they're trying to stop at these evil corporations. And it's like, well, like at the end of the day,
that's how you know no one knows what they're talking about, because the groups that stopped it were the fans who hated it.
Yeah, it was the fans. But also, like, you have to think, what I was thinking about with that is I had read in the Wall Street Journal that the Spanish league and other leagues were having financial difficulties. And obviously through the pandemic, like, that had hurt the league. So, like, why would you, if you're, you know, like one of these international brands, like, it's like if the MLB was, like, closing up shop, you know, what would the Yankees are a fucking $1 billion, you know, the Red Sox are a team that has reach out of the
Dodgers.
region. You know, the Dodgers, you think, there were a few others, the Cubs are another one.
Well, that's just for the history, mostly.
Yeah, but I mean, still, like, there were people that they either go to college in Chicago, they live in Chicago, they leave the Chicago metro area, they bring their Cubs fandom to their kids, you know, it's like a legacy thing.
Yeah.
The Yankees, I hate to bring this guy up, but Alan Dershowitz, another friend of Jeffrey Epstein, always used to say, I'm a Red Sox fan from New York. Like, he moved up here and worked at Harvard, and then he became a Red Sox fan. And I think he used to go to the games all the time.
Or Tyler Shaw, our friend from St. Joe's, who was a fan of the Yankees because of family connection. His grandfather was right. So there's a you're right. It's a tribal, but it's nomadic.
Jewish men down in Brooklyn crying where Dodger Stadium used to be, where there's a housing project now, and they're standing at home plate going, "Why did you leave for LA, Dodgers?" And like they're like, "I never seen a Dodgers game since they took Jackie out of Brooklyn." Like, and then you have those people.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you are one of these international brands, like, why the hell would you want to stay in a league that's folding?
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting the fuck out of there. And
of course, I mean, it's just a smart business move, and those leagues that if they were to if they could have pulled off the Super League, it would have made the big clubs even more wealthy. You want to talk about an explosion of
and I think,
fresh capital.
And I think the sport that's done the best job at trying to, or at least recently, trying to kind of flatten that is F1. F1 has done. They've gone.
They go all over the world. I mean, they have for a long time.
Yeah, and I mean it's an international sport, but also like, I mean the constructors. So you have the teams, right, and you obviously have the singular drivers.
Yeah.
And for them, a big thing was spending money on these cars, because you have fucking Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes, like Daimler is like a massive fucking corporation. They own like 30 car brands.
Yeah.
So the Mercedes, obviously Lewis Hamilton and the Mercedes-Benz car are going to win every fucking race. So I'm pretty sure, I think starting last season or this season, they capped how much you could spend on the car. Because you have Williams, I don't know if you know this, but Williams has been a perennial F1 team. They won many championships years ago. We're talking like before we were born. This was like when people used to die in the car. Like when someone died, it was like, it was like a common occurrence every single year that people would die when they were winning championships. And so they are like this like engineering company from England. And the founder of
like the
company,
pinball company, Williams?
No.
Same one or something?
No,
Okay,
they
separate.
make different. They make like they engineer things for like giant like trucks, and I think they had something to do with like the channel. They made something for the channel.
What's the channel?
The channel is the tunnel between France and England that goes through the
underneath the channel. Okay, yeah.
And I think they engineered, but the father was really into car racing, and he started the racing team. And they're like they're a drop in the bucket compared to like, Renault, which is a giant French car company, Mercedes-Benz, I mean Ferrari. Ferrari's unbelievably wealthy. And like the only reason why they started making cars was because Enzo wanted money for racing. Because that was the primary, like Scuderia Ferrari was the primary child of Enzo Ferrari. Like that was like his child. He was a race driver, I'm pretty sure, and he raced cars.
Okay.
So like when you have companies that are spending like, dude, I'm pretty sure Mercedes-Benz spent like nearly $200 million on their fucking car, and they won nearly every single race. It was Bottas, and Hamilton were like 1-2, like way too many times for it to be healthy. And recently there was the run with Red Bull with Sebastian Vettel, and he won a bunch of races in a row. And then like Hamilton's won it like 6 or 7 times in a row. And this year I think Red Bull is going to win it again. I think Verstappen is going to win it again. Hamilton really hasn't been doing as well, and Mercedes, because they capped how much you could spend on the car. So a lot of these teams, moved up. But I mean, Lawrence Stroll was his name? He owns a NASCAR team. He bought this Indian team that was owned by this Indian like booze tycoon who actually went to jail. He committed like securities fraud, I think, or something like that.
How white collar.
Yeah, his story, that's a crazy story. I think there's a Netflix documentary about it. And he owned Kingfish Beer, which was a huge beer company. Because in India, I don't know if you know this, but like the culture around drinking is like very tenuous. I get the sense they were very prudent about no alcohol, very much abstaining from it. And then in the 70s and 80s, drinking became kind of a big thing. I know there was...
That must have been a radical shift.
I think there was, like, prohibition from it. I don't know, there's something to do with, like, there's some undertone of, like, rampant drinking involved. I don't, and I don't want to comment because I don't really know the full, like, context or, like, the full history of it.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure there was a lot of rampant alcoholism at some point in India's history, so they like kind of did away with it for a while. But they brought it back, and he opened bars, and then he started making beer, and became this giant beer tycoon. And Lawrence Stoll bought the team, and he basically, what Lawrence did when he bought the team is he took the car and just basically made a carbon copy of the Mercedes-Benz car for the year before, and it won the Constructors' Championship, which is like the team, if you don't understand that, the constructors are the people that build the car.
Oh, okay.
And then there's like, so sometimes, and it's not, sometimes the engine builder also gets credit. So like some of the bigger companies will make the engines for the smaller constructors. Is usually, so like Renault makes engines, Ferrari makes engines, Honda does engines for Red Bull, but they also do some for other teams, and so does Mercedes-Benz. And basically, like Racing Point or Racing Force One or whatever it was called, the team. It's now Aston Martin Racing, and the Stroll's son races for them, and Vettel left Ferrari to go and race for them.
Aston Martin has a...
Yeah, they have an F1 team.
Do they have a car that they submit?
Yes, they have a car, and it's in cahoots with this Stroll.
What car do they use? Is it an Aston Martin built? I mean, obviously, you're talking about all the different, some components, but I'm talking about like the frame. They're not using like a V12 Vanquish. Like, what are they?
Oh, no, it's an F1. Have you ever seen an F1 car?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they just put their name on it.
Oh, okay.
So they probably built
the body
because they do have, you can buy this like weird Aston Martin that is like an F1 car.
That's what I mean. Like, is there not obviously that you or I could buy in a million years, but there has to be. It's probably available to the public if you got enough cash. I love Aston Martins.
I think you can buy like I think you could probably. I don't think you could buy like an F1 car.
Well, they're not street legal. So,
yeah, but you could buy it like Aston Martin made some sort of track kind of car.
Yeah.
That I don't know, it was like, I think it was like it was like $750,000, and it came with like a race team and a chef, and you can go for a day on the track and kind of just, I don't know who the fuck would buy that. It sounds like a waste of money to me.
That sounds like a Jeff Bezos purchase.
Yeah, he's just like, must go faster, Master Moloch.
Yeah.
Speeding his way to hell. He just like flies into the portal to hell. The Aston Martin.
And then the James Bond theme song just plays in the background.
Yeah, so I think they built the body and a lot of the components. I don't know. I think the engine might be Mercedes-Benz, I want to say, because I think that's what Stoll had. Because it's basically like, I think it's the Racing Force or whatever, their team, but they just rebranded.
Yeah.
Because I think Aston Martin used to be a constructor. I think they were for many years. But then, like, when they went bankrupt, like, all of the fucking British car companies went belly up. I think they moved away from it, and then they got bought by this group, this Indian group, this, like, capital group bought them. And they've really come up a long way since then.
Yeah.
Them Jaguar.
I love Jaguar.
Rolls Royce.
So when did Jaguar go belly up?
I think when they got bought by Ford, and then Ford dumped them.
Because I have interest in some of those sports cars, and I also like to be a bit individualistic, and I feel like everyone has or could have a BMW or a Dodge Charger or a nice Mercedes, but no, I don't see a lot of Jaguars on the road, and I'm interested down the line in a few years here buying myself a Jaguar, especially because many years ago their parts were considered cheaply made, and so they would depreciate super fast, and it was expensive to repair. But so from my understanding, and it might be because of this buyout situation, but in like the last 15 years that has changed. Their components are well made, they're well maintained cars if you take care of them.
Jaguar.
What do they say?
They used to say about a Jaguar. Spend more time looking at it on the side of the road than you do driving it.
So this
like E-Type Jags, like the old E-Types, they sell for like millions of dollars now.
Yeah. So this reputation
fucking sitting on the side of the road.
Yeah. This reputation exists still, even with the new builds.
Yeah.
But they're much more higher quality. and
Oh,
component,
yeah,
and
yeah,
so you
yeah.
could get a 3-year-old Jag with like 20,000 miles for pennies on the dollar
Yeah,
what it would
if
cost
you were
now.
gonna get used,
That's what I would go like 2017 if I was to buy right now.
I know someone that just recently bought a BMW M4, which is the coupe version of the M3. And he bought his used. I would never trust a used Jaguar. I don't care how new it is. That's just my personal opinion. But Mercedes-Benz and BMW, like, he bought it, and the guy that owned it had all of the records of service. Like, they take that shit so seriously with the M stuff and the AMG stuff at Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah.
Like, I saw a 1988 red M3 four-door sedan, and it had all of the paperwork dating back to when the car was bought.
Wow.
Whereas, like I trust that, because people that own cars like that, like an M or an AMG, they're like psychotic.
Well,
and
you kind of have to be
yeah.
to spend that much money on a car.
Yeah, I mean, no, the AMGs, the M's are like, I mean, it's cheaper than a Tesla, and I think it's more fun to drive than a Tesla.
Teslas are getting cheap, not necessarily affordable right now.
The one with the best range, or whatever, the one with the longest range and the most amenities is
expensive.
Like, it's expensive. It's like over. I think it's over 120.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the
Model 3.
Yeah, whatever. Like the
Model 3 was supposed to be 35 grand, but it doesn't even come close to that. I think with everything marked up. I think like the base. I think with one with no seats is 35.
You just sitting on the floor.
Yeah, like
sitting on the running board.
Yeah, I mean you could just sit on the running board with the drive.
Self-driving.
Self-driving.
That's so interesting.
I saw someone driving here doing the self-driving thing. It was like lane changing on its own. Guy didn't have his hands on the wheel. He was talking.
That's terrifying. I don't know.
Dude, I don't think you can't fall asleep. You gotta. I think my thing with it is it's like if you're gonna buy a car for that kind of money, you might as well at least at this point in the world. Because I think I don't know. There were rumors that all the M's were gonna be hybrid, which I think could have been kind of cool. I mean, F1 cars have been hybrid for a long time. They use the kind of, they have like a hybrid extra like electric motor to give them a little more juice.
Little zip.
Yeah, and the brakes, there's power through the brakes. It's like power through like kinetic energy, which is kind of cool. Which I mean most hybrids are, even your Priuses. But I don't know. I thought the Teslas were cool when I was like 16, but like everything else when I was 16, I kind of wizened that like maybe not right now.
No,
maybe,
it's I don't know that the technology to make it an economy, everyone has it, like it's the base, it's just what, it becomes the Honda Accord.
Yeah.
Or the Toyota Corolla.
Or the model, I would say it's more akin to the Model T.
It's going to take a little bit of time to get to a point where it's so popular and so widely used.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like that was I feel like Ford had the same sort of journey.
Yeah.
Where
we're waiting for the Model A,
Yeah, I think people were kind of like a little hesitant.
A car?
About
no, I'm going to
car.
keep with my horse-drawn buggy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think also like the sources of electricity need to be a little bit different and easier to, get like on-demand electric power. I think right now like wind and solar are
burgeoning.
They're burgeoning, but they have their engineering issues. I know a couple of my friends that are engineers that they're a little more optimistic on solar than they are on wind.
Yeah.
Just because wind, like, to build a fucking, like, turbine, it's, like, almost, like, useless. It's like, you're better off just getting solar panels.
Yeah.
But I know there's, like, a lot of... There's burgeoning tech to make electricity, I think. I think steam and stuff like that could be... And there's always nuclear.
We're never going to use nuclear.
Not after Chernobyl and 3 Mile Island. Yeah, that kind of...
Is 3 Mile Island the Japan one?
No,
that's
in
New
America.
York?
I don't know where... I think 3 Mile Island... I don't know where 3 Mile Island
well,
is. It's in America, I know that.
Okay. Because obviously Japan is another nuclear...
That's Fukushima.
Yeah. I don't like people use kind of a bad faith argument against nuclear, especially when they talk about something like Fukushima. They're like, oh look, the reactor.
It's in Pennsylvania.
They're like, oh look, the reactor melted down. It's like, no shit, the reactor melted down. There was a fucking earthquake in a flood. What are we talking about here? You know?
Yeah. See, the thing is like I think France was on 80% of its power came from nuclear, or something like that. I don't even. Yeah. I think 80% of their nuclear power. Was 80% of their electricity came from nuclear. I don't know what happened. I want to say something happened. Because I remember on 60 Minutes they interviewed like Sarkozy on the fucking cooling the cooling pool where the rods were like on top of the reactor.
Really?
Like the cooling.
That's pretty ballsy.
My grandfather worked at Pilgrim for a number of years.
Huh.
You make a lot of money going, but it's like really dangerous.
I was about to say, you're taking your life into your own hands.
He was exposed to radiation like a lot.
Jesus.
Yeah, but I mean that's like, you're making all that money. That's why you're making all that money because it's so dangerous. He's a plumber down there. They made more than the president.
Wow, that's
$400,000.
$400,000.
Come home with like, well, I mean this was like the '70s, so I don't know how much the president was making in the '70s.
Oh.
But he would come home and also like watch a cat. It was so dangerous. You know, when he was exposed to, I remember one time he said he got like sparks from welding in his eyes.
Oh
he
no!
Like, cream on his eyes. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, him and a guy. He was like helping a guy out, and the guy didn't say anything, and like arc welding. He got like he was like blind for like a couple days.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, and he said like these guys would.
That's
come,
terrifying. Imagine
like these engineers would come, and they would take the rods out, and they would dress up in these suits, and they would like have like the Geiger, whatever, like
Geiger counter,
like the Scientologists.
And
they were like, and they would take
or like ghost hunters.
He said one of the guys was like from Japan, and he was like an expert in that stuff. And
Could you imagine going blind for 2 days?
No, I couldn't. I don't know. I think
he
was like blind for like 48 hours or something like that. I don't know.
That would be.
But he said he rubbed cream on his eyes.
Like think about the emotional turmoil that he must have gone through. Because he probably didn't think he was going to get his sight back.
Yeah, I don't know. He probably, like, he was a plumber for a really long time, so he understood that stuff. So he probably was like, yeah,
Well, so this was after, because one of them was poor and had to take a job after the presidency.
I think Truman.
I was about to say, yeah. So it was in the 50s that they started with their pensions and all that junk.
Yeah, they upped it to like a lot of money. I don't know. I can't find it.
Oh. So I just saw a tweet from 1 o'clock this morning from Bob Odenkirk that I just wanted to share. Because obviously you're a fan of his work.
Okay? What's up with that?
He said the tweet saying, "I'm doing great. I've had my very own It's a Wonderful Life week, with people insisting I make the world slightly better. Wow, thank you, I love everyone right now, but let's keep expectations reasonable." So, he had a major heart attack on set, which is mortifying, and I'm a massive fan of his work. Some people, just to give you an interesting story, some people don't know that before Better Call Saul, before Breaking Bad, there was Mr. Show.
Yeah.
And before Mr. Show, he was a writer on Saturday Night Live. But before Saturday Night Live, he was working in Second City, Chicago, which is basically the breeding ground for new talent. It's an improv club, or a comedy, like a live comedy thing. I don't know that it's actually improv. I think it is.
Isn't that where Colbert was, too?
Yeah, I think Colbert went through Second City. Yeah, basically anybody that goes to Saturday Night Live, there's a strong chance they came through. This is like their farm league.
Yeah.
A lot of the people in early SNL came from here.
Jimmy Fallon!
And returning for his 25th consecutive year, Bobby Moynihan. No, so he was at Second City with Chris Farley,
Wow.
and Bob Odenkirk wrote the Matt Foley motivational speaker sketch. I live in a van down by the river. He wrote that sketch. Bob Odenkirk, one of my favorite comedians, Chris Farley, another one of my favorite comedians, Bob Odenkirk, wrote the best fucking sketch in Saturday Night Live history. And, you know, there's ancient video. This is like sacred texts of the two of them performing the skit. And the Phil Hartman character, the dad,
Yeah.
was being played by Bob Odenkirk. And so, like, he has done a ton for the direction of comedy of the last 30 years. And, you know, he just did that movie Nobody, that action film, which I don't know if you saw, but I went and saw it in theaters, and I loved it. I think he has a lot left to give that might surpass the bounds of his career up to this point. You know, I could see him doing more comedy, obviously. I could see him doing dramatic roles, like what he did in, I think it's called Nebraska, the one with Bruce Dern.
Yeah.
I think I could see him doing more stuff like that.
The Bruce Springsteen album?
I don't think so.
I wanted to say
Great album, though.
I just wanted to throw that. I wanted to seem culturally relevant. I wanted to seem like I knew something.
And I think he could do more action stuff, too. I mean, Nobody did very well at the box office.
Mr. Show was hilarious.
Mr. Show, him and David Cross, man.
Yeah, him and David. Dude, that's before David Cross was like...
Brainworms.
My God, have you ever... He did an interview with Cumtown.
David Cross did?
Yeah, he did. He did
They
one
don't
with
interview
Chopper.
anybody. They don't interview anybody after the Shane Gillis thing, don't they? Cumtown.
Why? Did he said that shit? Shane Gillis said that shit on Cumtown?
I don't think so, but like I think they talked to him about it, and then like because he was fired, he was hired and like fired. I think it was like they're just the new like he got announced, and then they went and they dug up.
They went. And
it was his own podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think he was on that because him and Nick are friends.
Are you being friends with Shane Gillis?
He's friends with Nick is friends with like Tim Dillon and Sam Hyde from $1 Million Scream.
Ooh.
That dude's fucking nuts.
Tim's awesome.
Have you ever seen the? I think Paul sent it. Other Paul sent the.
Paul Curtis over there in Chirac.
Yeah, 2077 Paradigm Shift. The TED Talk that Sam Hyde gave. He like infiltrated a TED Talk and just like made like this parody TikTok. And he's dressed up, you know, in like the toy armor that like little kids have, like the plastic like breastplate and shin plates. He's wearing that, and he's like, there's like, so the way the stage was set up for this TikTok, it said, or a TED Talk, excuse me.
TikTok. I was gonna say you're getting me. My wires were getting crossed.
So during this TED Talk, it says TED Talk. There's like the TED Talk sign, and then there was like steps, and he's like laid out on the steps giving this speech. And it's just, he's basically saying nothing the whole time. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. He had a show on Adult Swim, and essentially the people at Adult Swim canceled it because one of the people that he was with in the comedy for $1 Million Scream, he mouthed to vote Donald Trump. And it was suggested, now, I don't know how true this is, but people, the Tim and Eric show,
yeah, Tim Heidecker and Eric.
It's they might have had something to do with it. There's claims that Tim didn't like their politics, and some of the sketches were deemed to be alt-right in nature or something like that. Because they made a lot of sketches that were, I would say, more critical of like modernity and certain like social and like political mores that like generally like the consensus of people, you know, that would be liberal would find like okay, and they kind of poked at those a little bit. And I mean, Sam is like pretty insane, so they thought he was like an alt-righter or whatever, and I don't really even think he has really any real political views, or he just doesn't give a shit.
I'm sure he's just saying shit to get a reaction.
Yeah, because he's very crazy. He actually went to RISD, which is Rhode Island School of Design.
Oh.
He like lives in Fall River.
Huh.
Yeah, if you ever watch
that explains why he's a fucking nutcase. He lives in Fall River.
I think
come
he's
on now.
from Connecticut or something like that. But he's like, he lives in like down there. So sometimes if you watch any of his videos, like I've seen him drive through like places where I've been, because Lizzie lives down in
down
dad's
that
a
way.
Cop, her dad's a cop down there.
Down
so
that
like
way.
so like when I'm like in Fall River, I'm like, oh shit, this is like I've seen this in a Sam Hyde video, and it's kind of funny. And
I've only ever been to Fall River like a handful, like twice or 3 times. I only know of one. I only remember one time I went there.
It's Brocklehurst.
It's Brocklehurst.
It is. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you have crime. It's a little
They're
more
bringing drugs.
It's
They're
a
bringing
little more
crime.
industrial. It's a little more industrial.
It's a
than
little
Brockton.
industrial, but you know, it's just like
Battleship
Brockton.
Cove is down there.
Yes, it is.
If you ever want to fall and hit your head and sue some people.
Yeah. I've been to Battleship Cove. That was kind of a nice spot.
Is that the only time you remember going to Fall River?
No, so that makes 2. The other time I went down there, I bought...
You got a colonoscopy.
What?
In Fall River.
No.
I didn't know they did them that young.
I bought a bunch of GameCube stuff, Nintendo GameCube stuff off of Facebook Marketplace. A very nice lesbian couple sold me like at least $400 worth of GameCube stuff. They had it listed for $70.
Oh, dude. By the way, not to cut into your lesbian ramblings. I saw the Leader 75 of Crystal Skull, but I also saw the limited edition Pride.
The Pride one?
The Pride one. It's.
You
at
should have
Total
bought
Look.
one because I'm out. We just emptied that last night. Aiden was here and the skull of power.
Trying to summon
Speak
Lola.
to me. No, you're trying to summon Epstein. Just like
Jeffrey, speak to me. I beg of you, Jeffrey, give me the power.
So, for those of you who don't have visual in the room, Will was just holding up the empty bottle of Crystal Skull vodka, and there might be a little drop or 2 in there.
Dude, good. Probably
That
some
was
of the best.
Very good.
I
That
think
was
it's good, like $35.
yeah. For $50, it's a little.
For $50, I feel like it's fair to maybe I paid a little too much, but I would say for $35, you get. I think if this were $35, this would be like I'd be going to the liquor store.
It would be selling way more.
Also, this bottle.
It needs to fight with Tito's. That's the thing. It needs to get to a
I
point
think
where
it's better
it can.
than Tito's.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Tito's is like that's what I drink when I go out. I'll ask for a Tito's.
I get a Tito's, I get a little Tito's, I get a little risque.
Yeah. But I need to buy another bottle of Crystal Skull. I'm out now.
I think, dude, Dan Aykroyd, he's a crazy dude.
Yeah, I know. We gotta get him on the podcast. Could you imagine? So this goes out to Sam Hyde. This goes out to Tim Dillon. This goes out to Dan Aykroyd and Tom Jones and Alex
Sam Hyde on
Jones.
the podcast, we would get so canceled.
Yeah.
He was on, do you know the Needle Drop, the guy who does the music reviews, the guy with the ball?
Yeah.
He had Sam Hyde on his podcast, and Pitchfork wrote like a 2-page article about how like Anthony Fantano is like supporting the alt-right.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay, so maybe that invite has been rescinded.
I don't care if people write shit about me. Like, they're idiots.
Hey, all press is good press.
Yeah, but I mean, like, dude, it's like comedy. Who the fuck cares what is politics?
Yeah.
Like, that's just like neo-lib, like, morons who think, like, politics makes me laugh because I laugh at, I think everything is funny. So, like, when you're laughing at politics, it's because you're a deranged psycho. And I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to the neo-libs.
The royal you, the people out there.
The fucking scumbags.
Dude, what are you, tongue in the back of that Crystal Skull vodka's head, or what?
I'm practicing.
Ah.
I'm practicing my calling.
Oh, God. We'll have to cut that out.
Oh, God.
Oh, my.
George Takai.
So why don't I do a little reading? I'll do a little reading from Bill Clinton's My Life as Bill Clinton himself.
No, dude, let's talk about... So I deleted my Twitter. You want to talk about... We sit down. We'll talk about Twitter. I want to talk about top-tier Twitter accounts.
I mean, there are a few.
I think Neera Tanden, she's...
She fumbled the bag hard.
No, dude, she has, like, one of the best Twitter accounts. She's up at, like, 1 in the morning telling, like, a guy with the username, like, fuck China in the butt, 420 America, we love you, to, like, go fucking kill himself because he told her she was, like, a liberal scumbag. Like her peak time for Twitter was the same time as Donald Trump. Like,
well, it's interesting
like
that
early in the morning, like late night, early morning.
Yeah.
Like she's at the club, like drinking Henny, fucking tweeting, like just like hateful messages at people.
It's interesting that she was, because what was she selected for? State? No, not state.
She was selected as the head of the budget office.
Okay.
The OCFBP, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So it's interesting that like they had Congress had the stones to block her from that.
Well, so the reason why she was chosen.
Now you're just sampling all my liquor, huh?
No, I mean I just want a small one.
The Balvenie is so good.
Yeah, it is really good.
That's Balvenie Caribbean cask, 14 years, and then finished in rum cask.
Well, like
We call that the simp whiskey.
For some reason. Oh
well,
yeah, because like that's another Twitter moment. The thing with the entertainment.
That is a Twitter moment.
They picked her because she's like she was like an acolyte of Hillary Clinton, but she was the president.
Doesn't she hate Bernie?
Yeah, but she was the president of the Center for American Progress. So, like, she was seen as a quote-unquote progressive, even though she basically was like, her head was firmly up Hillary and Warren's ass. And she, like, would tweet shit about Bernie Bros and, like, fight with Trump people and Bernie Bros. I mean, she probably was sleeping with Bill, allegedly.
Ooh, attaboy, Bill.
I mean, her, Huma Abedin, Hillary.
And who is Huma married to? That's right, Anthony Weiner.
Dude, Carlos Danger.
One of the great sleazebags of our time.
One of the great sleazebags, including.
Do you know where he said that?
Where did he say that?
That speech where he talked about Anthony Weiner. You know Anthony, bing, 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 bong, I love you very much. That was said at Ernie Bach Jr.'s event. He was in Norwood.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
I remember watching that. I was at work. I was working at the pizza place back when I was in high school, and I worked at that pizza place that shall remain unnamed. And we just had it on the TV because it was slow, and I'm literally standing there watching this on CNN like, what the fuck is going on?
I love that. Dude,
that is a weird moment.
Carlos Danger?
I mean, the best Twitter alt account is Pierre Delecto.
Was that his...
That was Mitt Romney.
Oh, yeah.
Pierre Delecto.
How did they find him? How did they find it was Romney?
I don't know.
But what I like about Carlos Danger and Anthony Weiner is that Huma Abedin, did she stick around? She still...
No, she left him.
She left him? Yeah, he wasn't participating in the blood rituals anymore. He was a bad summoner of Moloch.
Bad hombre.
It's about a bad hombres. I'm one of them. You better watch out, Hillary. I'm coming for your husband. Does he make any reference to Jeffrey Epstein?
No, he just no. In this, no. Think about how crazy it is.
What about any of the rapes that he committed?
Probably not.
Allegedly.
Or any of the murders.
Or like R.I.P. Seth Rich. I can't believe his father gave Bill Clinton so much money, and they killed his son.
I know. How could you? How
dare
you?
I get that he owed him big time. Like the riches owed him Clinton big time because he pardoned the father whose name escapes my mind. But R.I.P. Seth Rich.
After the budget passed, Congress went on its August recess, and I was eager to take my family on vacation for 2 much-needed weeks on Martha's Vineyard. Vernon and Ann Jordan had arranged for us to stay on the edge of Oyster Pond in a cottage that once belonged to Robert McNamara. But before I could leave, there was a busy week of work. On the 11th, I nominated Attorney General John, holy shit, Shalakite. You want to try this?
Yeah, let me see.
John Shabalaba Ding Dong.
It's John Shalikashvili.
that doesn't sound right.
John
Shalikashvili. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
Something like that.
I mean, you can look him up. Look him up like on YouTube or something.
What's happened to him, I wonder?
And succeeded Colin Powell as chairman of the Joint Sessions. I nominated Army General John. Yeah, dude, he preceded Colin Powell.
Oh, he's dead.
How do you pronounce his name?
Salika Savili.
So I wasn't that far off.
Oh no, maybe that's the spelling in Georgian.
Salak. Oh, he's Georgian.
He was born in Warsaw, Poland.
Ah.
His nickname is General Shally. General Shally. No, you gotta say it into the microphone so that people can hear you.
Denver to America, Dakota to Missouri, down to Missouri, the bill signing ceremony. Imagine reading this. Dude, okay.
It's 800 pages of fucking nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, did he did he write the book, like, in conjunction with someone?
I literally read the first chapter and just left it. That's where that was my bookmark.
You know, Bill Clinton is a shitty character because he was like the first president to truly be president post the end of history. So like he basically just tried, like his whole.
It looks
thing,
like he wrote this himself.
I mean, probably. It's completely, like, it's just awful. I read about 3 words and I was confused by what was going on.
Yeah.
I mean, he was making up that man. That man isn't even real. That's just a made-up name.
General Shally.
He was probably off the...
Shally.
He was probably smoking and not inhaling when he wrote that.
Yeah, right? Bathing in the blood of slain children.
Yeah.
Of the innocent.
Baby's blood and, you know, what other...
Him and fucking
Uma Abedin's mother.
Uma.
The
The woman that wears a hood over her head.
No, but like the thing
what
about
the
Bill
hell?
Clinton is he's such a
that woman number
president.
1 is ugly.
He's,
Imagine how bad she smells. Yeah.
He's such a shit president because he was like the first president with like no ideology. He was the first president like truly the first president after the Berlin Wall fell. So like he basically was just like a Republican with like a D next to his name. Honestly, he's the reason why the Democratic Party is such shit. He's a fucking asshole.
Well, I mean, look at, you know, I am very good.
I'm not a Democrat, but like what he did, like if I was a Democrat, like especially after post FDR, where you had such a strong, like social democratic politics, like at least like you can say what you want. Like sometimes FDR, I think, was a tad commandeering as president. I think he loses points for being commandeering. Yeah,
he certainly tried to.
But like at least he had like some sort of ideology to go off of.
Yeah.
Like Bill Clinton was just like there's I don't think that guy believes in anything. Like him and Hillary, and that's why Hillary lost.
Well, yeah, of course,
because
she's a snake.
She faced off against ideology twice. I mean, she faced off against Bernie, who is very much a person that lives in the realm of ideology. And that's why I think they hate him so much. It's not because he's like... Have you ever read the book that she put out after she lost the election?
What happened?
What happened? She framed their disagreements not on, like, we have ideological differences.
She said he was a sexist.
Well, no, that
or there was some contingency of support. No, she said that there was some... people that didn't want her to beat Bernie were being sexist.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like what she wrote about their disagreements, like in the debates.
Oh.
It was basically like, it wasn't that like, I don't believe in Medicare for all. We both believe in the same thing. It's just he just wants there's a different procedure. Like it was like framed in a way that it wasn't like, you know, yeah, we have different ideologies. Like our ideologies come from a similar place. But I'm more, you know, this way, and I'm pro-capitalist. Where it was just like, oh, we really don't agree we don't really disagree. We just disagree on how to do it, how to pull it off. And it's like that's so fucking disingenuous. Like you that's just basically a cop out for saying like I don't believe in anything. So let me try to make you believe that I believe in something by making it seem like me and him aren't that far apart. When in reality, you guys no one could have been more further apart.
Yeah, no, I mean. Talk about political light years away from each other. You have like the embodiment of the neocorporatist rot in Hillary, and then you have the I'm going to fight against everything.
Everybody gets a pony and Ben & Jerry's ice cream. I love him.
I mean that went to like a Regis Philbin there.
Yeah, I know. Gildman, get me my dildo, Gildman. Wasn't that the name of his producer? Is Gildman?
I don't know.
No,
you clearly know more about that than me.
But Bernie, Hillary is just, she was just so post ideology. Like she does not believe fucking in anything.
Yeah.
And you really saw, and Obama was the first president to really feel the wrath of not having an ideology. Like, because the pushback of the Obama administration was, I mean, the Tea Party was pure ideology. I mean, it was pure, like, you know, and even Occupy was pure, I don't know, Occupy was just very wild.
Can I shift gears?
Yeah.
Well, I want to touch on another political topic, but then, like, before we lose the one viewer that we are trying so desperately to push away by talking politics, I want to jump to something else. But before we do that, we got to talk about the elephant in the room, or dare I say the elephant in the governor's mansion, Andrew Cuomo.
Well, he's another guy. We can talk about a guy who believes in nothing. And it's just like...
that man is fucked. And
I mean,
rightfully so. Make your bed, lay in it.
I'm going to tie this into our conversation because that's how I am. And I mean, if you think about it, this guy he's just hungry for power.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you think about it with the coronavirus stuff, with the way he treats women. I mean, that's a dead giveaway that he doesn't fucking believe in anything. Is he just uses his place to get people to play strip poker? He's like a 6th grade pickup artist. So I said to my mom, he's like,
yeah.
Do you want to play some strip poker with me in the mansion?
Yeah.
The Grosvenor.
I like that term. That was Jay Willie. Yeah, that was
Jay
a good
Willie.
one.
Shout out to Jay Willie for the Grosvenor.
You know, I'm here, and I come out of the movie theater. I was watching a little bit of The Green Knight by David Lowery, and I see on the news that the New York's Attorney General has said that I am guilty of non-wanted sexual advances. And I think, you know, it's deeply concerning to me that there was a woman who was working in my office. She is a sweet girl, no older than my youngest daughter. She tells me, you know, Governor, I'm a survivor of sexual assault. And I said, come to the mansion, we can talk about it while I give you a back rub. And we're going to have a good time. Because that's the man that I am. I didn't want to... I love his apology. He's like, I didn't mean to make your trauma worse. I was trying to relate to you. It's like, give me a fucking break. What?
Yeah, I can't believe he said that. You know, he's just someone... That guy, like, definitely doesn't believe in anything. There's no way he believes in anything.
I know you... I've been hankering to have a cigar with you for a good...
Yeah, I know.
It's been a couple of months.
I know.
So, we'll wrap this up here, and we can go out to the back, have a cigar before, you know, the hour gets too late. And then a couple of people are coming over, I guess. Instead of going to PJ's, they're going to come here, Ryan and PJ. So if you're going to be able to stick around, maybe we can record with them and have another episode. But for the time being, this was cool. We got Trump on to start it.
Dude, that's crazy. I can't believe we got Trump on.
That was nuts.
Dude,
that's really going to boost our profile. Yeah,
maybe
I think
so. Get him on again. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know you talked to him, and then his people, which was that like Corin Lewandowski who we talked to? Or,
you know, I have a feeling
he's... Or Rince Pubis.
Rince Pubis? Rince Pubis?
That's what I called him on the phone. He said, oh, this is Reince Priebus, and I was like, hey, Reince Priebus. And
What
he
did you
was like,
talk? No, well, listen. Let me say this. I don't know what Reince is doing. I don't know what Corey's doing. I just remember. Do you remember when the president, at the end of the administration, he sent that schedule out, and it's like the president
will be.
So you
believe in the steal? You're calling it president?
At the end of his administration, after the January 6th thing, and a bunch of people quit, he didn't have like a scheduler. And there was a schedule that went out and it says the president will have many important meetings and take many phone calls. And it's like that was him writing it. I have a feeling the email address that I was sending this stuff away to, I have a feeling that was actually just him pretending to be his own secretary.
I think he prank called me and said he was Reince. That's why I think he thought it was funny when I called him Reince.
You know, I'm a rinsed pubis.
I do like to clean my pubic hair very much. Very clean. I use the
Lawnmower 3.0
I use the Manscaper Lawnmower 5.0. I'm 2.0s ahead of you because I'm so rich and great. No, definitely, dude. That was definitely him. And I mean, I have nothing. I have to say, he was very nice on the phone when I talked to him. He seems angry. I think he seems very upset. But I mean, you know what? He is our God. We're just living in his solipsistic world.
Yeah.
We don't exist. When he goes to bed, we all go to bed. You know, when he shuts his eyes, we shut our eyes because we don't exist.
Yeah.
Unless he's awake. So no, it was just good to connect with him. I connect
with our deity.
I have my issues with him, but I think at the end of the day, he has a good sense of humor. I think he's prone to say many things, some
many
better than
things.
others, and I'm glad he's been reading. He's been reading a lot.
Yeah.
He's been reading and
reading the dictionary, practicing his words.
I think he's been reading many texts. It seemed like he made reference. He was listening to the podcast. He made reference to the story I told when it was you, me, John, and Aiden about Solomon from the Talmud, where Solomon made those demons do his bidding. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
But he made mention of it, and I think him and Kushner have been going to temple.
That's
together.
Good. He needs a little religion.
I'm glad. He's having father.
He seems healthy.
Son-in-law time.
Yeah.
I don't think Don.
Yeah, he's having 75-year-old father, 12-year-old son. They're
playing
time.
Fortnite, talking to
noobs,
20-year-olds from Long Beach, California on Tinder. He says he's been using Hinge a lot lately. What else? He said something. I don't think Don Jr. is doing too well.
No, he seems like he's on a coke-addled rage.
Yeah, and but I think Eric seems to be getting hotter and hotter as the days go on.
Well, rhinoplasty will do that for you. So
I mean, dude, that guy was. Honestly, and I said this. I said if I was in a room with a gun to my head and I had to choose to sleep with one of the Trump boys, it would definitely be. It would definitely have been Don Jr. But Eric. Eric's. I don't know what Eric's doing. Whatever you're doing, keep it up, Eric. Because you've changed my mind. I'm a full-time Eric guy.
You're an Eric stan.
Yeah, because I don't know, something about the...
That could be a country in the Middle East, Eric stan.
Yeah, that kind of red hair, that dyeing, I don't know if it's red or...
He is blonde.
It's blonde.
It's like a dirty blonde.
It's like a dirty blonde, and he's got kind of the beard. He looked prior to whatever he's been doing, whether it's... child's blood, or
Pilates,
or placenta rub, or something like
maybe
that.
Some kickboxing workouts, booty boot camp.
I don't know. Maybe he's been working out with Joe Rogan. I don't know. Whatever he's been doing.
Doing some cryo, perhaps.
Yeah.
See, you're going with you're going with the otherworldly, demonic shit, and I'm trying to stay on planet Earth.
I don't know. Whatever he's doing, demonic, undemonic. Catholic Church, Mormon Church, whatever, Church of the Latter-day Saints.
The video game Doom, the video game Doom.
Yeah, whatever he's been doing, whatever he's been up to, he's looking good.
Yeah.
He's looking good.
Gotta be happy for him.
So, I mean, maybe we can have him on.
Oh, that would be a time.
I really want to get Jerry Seinfeld on. Maybe we can get Jerry to do a little spot. Maybe we can get Jerry to do a little spot.
Last night, before we go, I was talking to John and Aiden about, I want to do a remix of The Watcher, the song from John's album.
Yeah.
But I want to do it as
Watch 'em.
Don't Laugh.
Don't
use the
work.
don't laugh thing from
Don't
the.
work.
Yeah.
I had an idea in the car today about a remix of a song. I want to cover Bell Bottom Blues by Derek and the Dominoes, but as an Indian man.
No.
Because I have,
All right,
I
well,
have this new character, Resistance Patel, who's a guy who changed his name to Resistance after Donald Trump became president. But he's also like a huge fan of Modi and is like wicked Islamophobic. And he does like karaoke. He gets drunk and does karaoke. And one of the songs he like sings is Bell Bottom Blues. His Bell Bottom Blues just came on while I was in the car.
Okay.
On Spotify.
Yo, that's a good
so I
track.
just started singing it in an Indian accent.
Yeah, as you do.
It was awful. It was awful.
That's why I'm trying to stop you from doing it.
No, I can't.
No. All right, folks.
All
This has been the conversation pit. Glad to have Will back. Finally. I feel like it's been ages. We're gonna go have a cigar, maybe some whiskey, some simp whiskey, and go from a 6 to an 8. Good night, Jim. 6 to an 8. Good night, Jim Kite. All right, folks. Ta-ta for now.
Ta-ta.